Hello, welcome back. This is Dr. S. Muangaite, Assistant Professor of Political Science. This is a continuation of our discussions on behavioralism. The target audience of this class are primarily undergraduate students taking political science as one of the subjects. Today I want to start the class with the person that we left out in the last class, that is on George E. Merriam, after which we will discuss about the significance and achievement of behavioralism. George E. Merriam was a professor of political science. He was a critic and a defender of democracy. He was regarded as the intellectual godfather of the behavioral political science. He is the founder of Chicago School, which made substantial contributions to the behavioral movement. George C. Merriam propagated the interdisciplinary and scientific character of political science. In his article, The Present State of the Study of Politics, published in 1921, and his book, New Aspects of Politics, published in 1925, he criticized political science for its lack of scientific rigor. He argued for a reconstruction of methods in political analysis, advocated a greater use of statistics in the age of empirical observation and measurement, and postulated that intelligent social control, a concept reminiscent of the old Comtean positivism, might emerge from the converging interests of politics, medicine, psychiatry, and psychology. Merriam deprecated the work of historians for ignoring psychology, economics, and sociology. He favored that political scientists should make full use of advances in social sciences in order to develop interdisciplinary and scientific character in political science. He advocated scientific endeavor by using quantitative technique already developed in the field of psychology and sociology. An important empirical work of Merriam, which he published with Harold F. Gosnold, titled Non-Voting, Causing, and Method of Contrast, which was published in 1921, uses sampling methods and survey data and is illustrative of the type of research that came to dominate political science after the Second World War. In 1925, Merriam exhorted political scientists to look at political behavior as one of the essential objects of inquiry. Being an ardent defender of democracy, he consistently sought to put science into the service of democratic principles. Now coming to the significance and achievement of behavioralism. We know that behavioralism has its own limitations and has encountered a number of serious criticisms. Even then, its contribution in building and transforming the subject matter of political science has been remarkable and undeniable. It greatly transformed the subject of political science, its nature, scope, method, and technique and approaches. Behavioralism shifted the focus in the analysis of politics from the Formalism and normative orientations of the legalistic and philosophical school to political behavior. Under the influence of behavioralism, reliability has become the primary focus of social and political science research, in contrast to higher degree of generality. Also, primacy was given to issues and questions that could be answered reliably. Under the influence of behavioralism, the focus of research has become micro-level oriented rather than macro-level generalization. And also, behavior of individuals or group of individuals become the primary unit and focus of research rather than the structure, institutions, ideologies, or events of political phenomena. The real behavior of actual actors in the political system become the main focus of study. Behavioralism, in fact, came to be accepted as an approach even wider than the study of political behavior, yet political behavior was its main focus. The point is, the political behavior of persons came to be studied, analyzed, and understood by taking into account the psychological, sociological, economical, environmental, and other influences on the behavior of man. Comprehending of all the diverse processes and factors that directly or indirectly influences the behavior of man in and within the political system calls for understanding and analyzing the political socializations, the political ideologies, political culture, political participation, commitment, political communication, leadership, decision-making, even political violence. This, in fact, is inter- or cross-disciplinary approach, which is one of the defining markers of behavioralism. And its interdisciplinary nature has helped and enabled political scientists to understand the basic urges, needs, and demands of individuals in a better way. The achievements of behavioralism can also be seen in the way it influences the traditionalist. Though the traditionalist reiterated its faith in the classical traditions of political science, they also accept that the behavioralist has made political science more self-conscious and self-critical, open it up to vital interdisciplinary influences, and considerably refined its research technique and methodologies. Traditionalists even recast their subject matter, methodology, and conclusion. They use interview and questionnaire techniques, content analysis, and other statistical devices while studying human phenomena. They were also not averse to using attitude measurement, scaling technique, sampling methods. Topics or subjects which were earlier considered as traditional domains or areas have been transformed to behavioral orientations. Also attitudes, perceptions, values, motivations which were considered as speculative thinking alone have come out of traditional field. The post-behavioralists to accept the achievement of the behavioral era. The only thing is that they seek to push political science further and towards new horizon. Apart from the point noted already, To measure achievement in political science can be witnessed as a result of behavioral revelations. Number one is theoretical in nature, that is, theory making or theory building. The other one is technical in nature, that is, research methodology or technique of research. Please note that the technical revolutions and achievement got far ahead of the theoretical one. Remarkable achievements were made in the development and refinement of the tools and techniques of research, especially in the fields of content analysis, case studies, interviewing and observations, and statistics. And coming to content analysis entails a systematic reading of a body of text, images, and symbolic matter. It is a research tool used to determine the presence of certain words or concepts within text or sets of text. Researchers quantify and analyze the presence, meaning, and relationship of such words and concepts that make inferences about the messages within the text, the writers, the audience, and even the culture and time of which these are a part. The method of content analysis was not new to the political scientists of the 19th and early 20th century. However, it was with the arrival of behavioral revolution that the methods, technique, and ways of doing content analysis become more scientific, more standardized, more systematic, and refined. The first systematic content analysis in political science was made by Harold D. Lastwell in his book titled Propaganda Technique in World War I, published in 1927. This work was a dispassionate description and analysis of the massive propaganda campaign conducted by all the major belligerents in World War I. With regards to interviewing and observation, even though political scientists were using in the pre-behavioral era, their methods could be hardly distinguished from those used by journalists. The greatest refinement came in the fields of sampling survey, which became a basic instrument of social research in its own right. Sampling survey achieves or enables construction of explanatory theory like population samples, especially in the field of prospective voters, which was designed and administered with great skills. Another method came out in the 1930s known as the quota sample of the 1930s, and again to be followed by the probability sampling in the 1940s. In the field of interview, increasing sophistication in the designing of survey questionnaires and technique, and in the substantive aspect has been witnessed. It draws from the discipline of counseling and psychotherapy. The merit of open-ended questions as compared with the fixed alternative or pull-type questions and of the focus or in-depth interview have been elaborated and developed with investigators' friends of choice among interviewing tools has markedly widened. The use of panel technique, that is, successive interviews of populations of samples known as panel, made possible the study of attitudes and behavior through successive changes. And in the field of statistics, there have been remarkable changes from univariate to bivariate to multivariate procedures and analysis enables social scientists to test entire paradigm in one full sweat. With this, we have come to the end of the class, and we know that behavioral evolution has greatly transformed the subject matter of political science. And even then, we know that it has its own limitations. And this led to the emergence of post-behavioralism, which will be the topic for our discussions in the next class. We'll meet you in the next class. Till then, have a good day. Bye.
Bye.